Well, social media law experts have warned that anyone who shares sexually explicit material of a person without their consent is guilty of distributing revenge porn and can be held liable for defamation or criminal injuria. This follows the wide circulation of a sexually explicit video which features the Home Affairs Minister, Mmusi Maimane. Maimane claims that the video is at the center of blackmail and extortion attempts against him following the hacking of his phone. Now, to unpack the legal repercussions of sharing sexually explicit content meant for adult private viewing, we're joined now via Skype by media analyst Pritesh Suraj. Pritesh, thank you very much indeed for your time. Firstly, what's the legal repercussions for someone who redistributes someone's personal sexual videos?
Good morning, and thanks for having me on. I think one of the key things that you have to realize is that this is an invasion of someone's privacy. Sure, it was created and shared over digital media, but it was intended for a specific individual for their specific consumption. And when this is now shared with other people, it's an invasion of their privacy, and you're legally liable for infringing on that privacy if you share this content.
So if I have it on my phone now and I send it to Desiree, am I legally liable?
Yes, you are. So if you have it in your phone right now and you watch it, you are in a gray area where you're probably legally fine. But the real challenge starts as soon as you make that decision to share this content. When you share that content, then you are legally liable, and the minister can come after you for infringing on his right to privacy.
So watching it is not a problem, sharing it is.
That's correct, yes. So watching it isn't really the big issue. The big issue is taking part in that illegal act of sharing private content. So if you received it from someone, you should know that by receiving it, that person who actually shared it is now committing a crime. And when you now decide to actually keep that and not delete it and actually share it with someone else, you're participating in a crime as well.
Because it's tantamount to an infringement of privacy, isn't it?
That's correct. And I think one of the things we have to realize is we're living in a gray area where, in social media, different situations are happening on a different day where sometimes the law is not sure how to handle it. But this is one of the areas where the law has come to a point where they understand how to cope with this and handle it. And what they find is that there's a certain right to privacy. You're generating content that needs to be shared with a particular individual. As soon as that content has been infiltrated through an illegal means, which it was in this case, through the process of hacking, then you're also participating in that crime, along with the person who initially stole that content.
Pritesh, is there case law? Does case law exist to show that there is no public interest in disseminating such content?
So globally, yes, there is different case law, but you got to remember this case law is still in its infancy. As I said, because this medium of transfer is so new and technology as a whole is so new and new technology is coming out, things are still in its infancy. Some of it has not been formulated or in concrete right now globally, but from market to market, yes, there is case law, but essentially because we're dealing with such a prominent individual right now, if the minister really takes it to its full extent, what we can expect is that for years to come, this is really going to be one of those prime examples of case law that other people are going to be referring to.
Let's look at it realistically, though, Pritesh. What's the steps now? So he goes and he reports it to police, I assume. And then how does the investigation unfold? Because you can't, this has gone viral. How do you arrest everybody?
So obviously you cannot arrest everyone, but what he can do is lay a charge for invasion of his privacy. He's secured the services of a private investigator to go out and actually trace the dissemination of this material. So what you can find is that he then has the option to decide how far he can actually take this and which layers down. So the initial person obviously is somebody he's going to go after, but is he going to go 2 levels, 3 levels, 4 levels down? You don't know where you sit in that entire pyramid. So you don't want to risk actually being somebody who's sitting on the 2nd and 3rd level that then can be legally liable if he so chooses to go down to that level.
I get you. But how easy is it to retrace this?
So with technology, it's always tough because there's privacy laws where WhatsApp as a group or whichever social media site as a group may have privacy laws to try and protect their users. But the reality is technology is not foolproof. The right people with the right tools will be able to trace to whatever level they can and go through it. Let's be honest, we're sitting with a situation where this was a private 13-second video that was meant to be shared with just one individual, and now it's gone viral. If that can happen, you can bet that we can also have a situation where you can be traced within that chain.
What responsibility does the social media platforms have in trying to block this from their platforms?
I think as soon as the minister has reported it, the social media platforms really need to use the full extent of the tools that they have to stop the dissemination of this material. Having said that, it's not always that easy. Even Facebook, as an example, actively patrols nudity on their site, and they don't win. It takes a lot of work from users to report it. So if people are getting this material, they're not deleting it, they're not reporting it, it's going to be very difficult for the social media network to truly squash it and get rid of it from their network.
I see on our screens, the strap says, never share sexually explicit content with a couple of exclamation marks. I mean, the internet, Pradesh, social media, among the greatest interventions of all time, but it has ruined so many careers, isn't it? Just give us the do's and don'ts.
So I think as much as we can say in an idealized world, never share sexually explicit content or any private content for that matter, you also don't want to take a photo of your salary and start sharing it and then it goes gone. The reality is we're human beings, it will happen and people are going to do it. What you should be doing is you should know the risks. If you choose to shoot content that is private, you should know that you're doing this with the risk of it being shared. And if it actually goes out in the public domain, that you've got a lot of work ahead of you. So the real do's and don'ts are, do this with some sort of awareness and mindfulness as to how far this content can actually go. And if you're prepared to live with the risks, go ahead and do it. It's new technology and you're on a new frontier, so you can choose how you wish to interact with it.
Salient advice. Thank you very much indeed for your time. That was social media analyst Pradesh Suraj talking to us about the do's and don'ts about social media. I guess it's lessons to learn.